8 countries that are totally unprepared for war. 1. Moldova. Active personnel, 6,500. Military budget, $25.5 million. Moldova is small and threatened by Russia. Its region of Transnistria is occupied by Russian troops, but Moldova has no equipment to counter an invasion. It has 0 combat aircraft, no fighters, no attack helicopters. It has very few anti-aircraft guns. Much of its hardware is old and Soviet-made. 2. Bhutan. Active personnel, 8,000. Military budget, $5.5 million. Bhutan is a small landlocked country. It has no air force and no navy. The military's inventory includes just 2 Mi-8 helicopters and 27 armored vehicles. Bhutan is in many ways a client state of India. India didn't want it to be influenced by China, so it pressured the king into adopting neutrality. The Royal Bhutan Army is supplied and trained entirely by India. 3. Armenia. Active personnel, 70,000. Military budget, $1.28 billion. Armenia is entirely reliant on Russia for defense. Russia maintains several military bases in Armenia. Yet Armenia lost to Azerbaijan in the Nagorno-Karabakh conflict. Russia failed to protect Armenian assets. Armenian forces turned out to be too corrupt and unprepared. It's very unlikely they could even defend Armenia if it were attacked. 4. Georgia. Active personnel, 37,000. Military budget, $504 million. In 2008, Russia invaded Georgia to support 2 separatist republics. Georgia lost much of its defense capabilities. During the war, the Russians sank 4 Georgian naval vessels. Georgia also lost a plane and 3 helicopters. Despite substantial rebuilding, Georgia's military remains vulnerable. The country is too isolated to allow easy shipments of arms. If Russia decided to attack, Georgia would likely fold. 5. Montenegro. Active personnel, 2,350. Military budget, $64 million. As a NATO member state, Montenegro relies on foreign help. The country's air power comprises just 11 helicopters. Its land forces operate just a dozen artillery pieces. The total number of armored vehicles is 100. The Montenegrin Navy is mostly inflatable and motorboats. 6. Kosovo. Active personnel, 10,000. Military budget, $148 million. The Kosovo Security Force isn't really an army. It has no tanks and no warplanes, only drones. However, Kosovo has an arrangement with the UN. The country is defended by KFOR, a UN peacekeeping force. KFOR will stay there until the KSF is fully capable. Still, the threat of a Serbian invasion is ever present. Serbia has not recognized Kosovo's independence. 7. Suriname. Active personnel, 2,000. Military budget, $60 million. The Suriname National Army was formed after a military coup. It's the primary branch of the Surinamese military. Its rudimentary air force only has 3 helicopters. Its navy comprises several patrol boats. The army operates around 20 armored carriers. The rest of its assets are small arms. It has only ever fought domestic insurgents. The Surinamese interior war lasted more than 6 years. The army managed to take out 60 jungle commandos. 8. Central African Republic. Active personnel, 10,000. Military budget, $25 million. The Central African Armed Forces only exist on paper. The Central African Civil War has been raging since 2012. The regular armed forces are just one of the warring factions. They have mutinied against the government, so the government mostly relies on foreign peacekeeping forces.